And we are live, I believe. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Real Reds Recap, where we take a look at the start of season predictions. And just as a disclaimer for people who are watching currently at the minute, things was a lot different back then. A lot of stuff has happened in 8 or 9 months or whatever it's been. And you can testify that for United, for any team in the Premier League. It's been absolutely crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the predictions and what they was who will win the Premier League, top 4, relegation, golden boot, signing of the season, flop of the season, where United will finish and what we win, trophy winners, and controversial takes on top of that as well. So, don't say them if you can, but can any of you remember what you went for at all?
No, but I know I got, because we put the clip out, I know I got the Spurs one very, very wrong. I fucked that one up, so I know that's wrong, but I can't remember any of the rest of them.
Adam?
Other than probably us finishing in the top 4, I thought we'd, fill the gap a little, but it's been very wrong. Closer to the bottom than the top.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was I the most negative on United's position?
Yes, you was.
That would have looked like
and even I was fucking so wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. That was at the time. I'm pretty sure you mentioned it because I watched it back the other day, and everyone was like 6. I've already said it now. Sorry, but yeah, it couldn't have been like 10 places below that, and it's like fucking hell. So, yeah, you can already imagine from that small conversation what these predictions are going to be like. So let's just fucking dive straight into it. Obviously, Chivy and Aaron was on the original show with us, but due to Chivy flying out and Aaron's got some things at home as well, unavailable to be on the show, which is a shame. But we've still got 3 of the original ones who were on there as well, so we can kind of fill in for them at certain spots if we need to. So we're going to go with first Premier League winners, okay? There on your screen, these are predictions. I predicted Manchester City. Aaron predicted Arsenal, Chivy predicted Arsenal, Sam predicted Manchester City, and Adam predicted Manchester City as well, which, in fairness, you can't really blame the City shout because they've just done 4 in a row, whatever it was. But I wanted to ask you, were you surprised how comfortable it actually was for Liverpool? And would you back them again for next season, do you think?
I didn't expect City to fall off that badly. Like, the City fall-off was tremendous. Like, I know they lost Rodri and stuff, but it's not like they don't have world-class players in every position.
Yeah.
And the fall-off was just insane. Like, I've never seen anything like it. Well, apart from ours, but like to go from winning a Premier League title to just being unable to beat teams and score and just like, it was just bizarre. It really was bizarre. And then Arsenal couldn't, as always, fucking bottled it and couldn't take advantage of it. Like, they just were like, that was their go. They could have won the league this year had they gone and done what they needed to do, but they didn't. Yeah. So it was just basically opened up for Liverpool, wasn't it? Because City just went off a cliff.
Yeah, it was a bit of an extra sting as well, Adam, with Liverpool matching the 20. And now you had, like, the pundits, Gary Neville, and everyone saying, well, they are the most successful club because of the European Cups and stuff. And yeah, anyone but them really would have been nice, wouldn't it?
It would have been. I've been at that point, like Arsenal, as much as their fans are a pain in the backside. I'd choose them winning it over Liverpool anytime.
Yeah.
And I just didn't expect it to be that easy for them to wrap things up that soon, because we've seen it in recent seasons as well, with City, Liverpool going head to head, even to the last day it was going. But the fall off from City, I think that's what gave Liverpool the title. It was. City win 4 in a row. They're obviously going to be heavy favourites to do 5. And the fact that they had that massive falling off, it's like they didn't have that hunger at all. And they finished the season trophyless, I think. Is it for the first time under Pep?
Yeah.
Or did he do it? His first season, did he get a trophy?
I think he got the League Cup, did he, in his first year?
Potentially, yeah.
So first season without a trophy for him, and I know there's been a lot of noise around City, but it's kind of quiet down as well about these charges, and like you're thinking, did that have an impact? It didn't seem to. It's just like they lost the hunger. The hunger wasn't there at all. Like they've been rootless in the past, and there was no rootlessness to them this season. It's like best way to describe it is like this wolf full of sharp teeth. It had no teeth. Didn't have any teeth. It had no hunger. The hunger wasn't there for them. But Liverpool 20 now, level with us. Look, let them have it. Like next season, they're going to be probably going in favourites. They have to be favourites, I think. But if, like, we're Man United, we can't be letting that happen. And the fact that we just fell off, like Man City had a big fall off, but ours was worse.
Well, I was going to mention the December period was bad for City, wasn't it? Do you remember?
Yeah.
That was at a point where they was at the absolute lowest and everyone was smacking them. We beat them in December, and we was December for us. I mean, saying that towards the end of the season, it was like 8 losses, won it in a row or something. But December was still really bad for us. We got beat off like Newcastle, off Wolves, off loads of teams, and we still managed to beat City at the Etihad in the last minute as well. Like, I thought at that moment, that period, City may actually be done here, because I thought Pep might end up leaving, and it had that kind of rocky feeling to it, didn't it?
Do you remember Pep scratching his face and stuff, and he was like self-harming and shit? Like he was proper, he was losing his head, wasn't he? He was proper losing his head at points. And then that Sporting game was when we sort of first saw, didn't we? The hammer him, and we're like, oh, I like that. And then obviously ended up like coming to United and stuff. So yeah, it's interesting, man.
Yeah, and at that point, we didn't really think, we thought City may be out of the top 4 situation, but obviously we made our predictions at the start of the season. So let's get on to the top 4 and see what we predicted. I predicted City, Arsenal, Tottenham, and United. I had in the top 4, which 2 were in there, 2 very wrong. Aaron had Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and United. Obviously, got 3 out of the 4. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Chivy had Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and United. And Sam, you had City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham in your top 4. So you got 3 out of 4. That's not bad. And Adam had City, Arsenal, Aston Villa, and Manchester United in the top 4 as well. Of course, the top 4 finished Liverpool, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, I believe it was, wasn't it? So, yeah. Villa, in fairness, I think Villa had a decent-ish season, and then towards the end, it just seemed to crumble, didn't they? Suppose that decision at Old Trafford, Adam, didn't help, did it?
Oh, no, that was the turning moment for them. And, yeah. The only thing is, like, I can kind of see why it was kind of chalked up. The ref blew the whistle before. You can't give it their... by the rules, and it is very harsh. And like you're thinking, okay, even if they drew that game, they would have qualified for the Champions League. Like that's a massive, cash flow.
Hundreds of millions you're talking almost, aren't you?
Yeah,
because Newcastle lost, didn't they? So
to Everton.
Yeah,
crazy.
So it is crazy, and I can see why Emery isn't that happy. Did they improve on their points from last season? Did they or?
I would presume so. I mean, I can VAR it now and double check, but I'm pretty sure they would have done, because I felt like there was a period for them, particularly a couple of months, where they looked like the team to beat. Like they was really.
Well, they beat Bayern Munich, didn't they, in Europe, and then they went on like a run, didn't they, where they
and they were PSG is scared.
Yeah. So they finished on 66 points this season. Last season, 68 points. They finished in top 4, didn't they? They finished 4th.
2 points down.
So that 2 points off.
So that win against us would have
replicated
1 point above, wouldn't they? Yeah. What they got last season.
Fine margins, football, isn't it?
Yeah. Sam, are you surprised Chelsea got in there?
No, I think in the beginning of the season, they were talking about Chelsea being title contenders, weren't they? Like, you had a really good run. Maresca and people like, oh, could they challenge for the title? Could they do this? And then after December, January, they fell off completely and were just on a losing run, couldn't win a game, and ended up sort of clawing it back towards the end. They sort of put a run together and clawed it back and got back in. But I think had they not had that good first half to the season, they probably wouldn't have been in it. But I think that good first half put them in it. The same thing happened when he was at Leicester in the Championship. They had a great first half and they like 12 points in the Championship, like ahead. And then they lost it all the way down, and it came down to like 1 point on the last day because these sort of collapses. Similar things happened there, but not really with the team they've got. Like they've got good enough players. I don't think Maresca will be there next year. I think they'll sack him. But
what do you mean? Like halfway through the season, you think?
I think he might go in at some point this summer. I think he'll go.
After getting top 4 and winning the European trophy?
Yeah.
Nah, no chance. They won't do that.
He sacked Di Matteo won the Champions League, and they sacked him 6 months later.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different ownership at different times, isn't it? I get what you're saying. Like, we didn't think it was Poch at the time, but I would be very surprised.
Poch looked good towards
Near
the
the
end
end.
of this season, and then they sacked him. So I won't pay anything past Chelsea, honestly.
Yeah, well, they'd have to make a decision soon, wouldn't they, Adam? You think with the transfer window coming up
Oh,
and
yeah.
how many teams are going to be buying players? You'd imagine Chelsea, I don't know how much they can spend because of the amount of money they spent already, but you would expect them to go in for some big targets, wouldn't you?
Well, there's the Liam Delap right now. Obviously, that's what 30 million is the release clause, or
Yeah. Do you think
something along those lines.
he won't be a starting number 9 for them though, will he, with Jackson? They seem to have a lot of faith in him.
Yeah, they seem to have a lot of faith in Jackson. So I don't understand where this is coming from. Is it from the manager? But like, could he be gone?
He worked with him, didn't he? Maresca worked with Delap.
Yeah.
When he was at, because obviously he was at City one, he was like the youth coach or whatever it was.
Yeah. So there is a bit of a link there, but will he be the starting? I can't see it. Like, is he good enough to kind of be starting around then? But you never know. It's better to have healthy competition. We don't have that. Yeah. There was no competition for Hoyland up front.
We don't have a starter, let alone competition, do we? That's the
exactly. Yeah. So, like, they're doing that bit of business, which I think is smart. It's not overly expensive, and we kind of discussed it the last day how we can flip the player probably for more in the future because he's still young.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, let me go to the comments because there's quite a few viewers in the chat. Please do smash like and let us know your predictions. Sid the Whistle saying, "Evening, lads. I honestly thought we'd finish 10th. Well, if you made that prediction at the start of the season, people may have called you negative, but I think you would have taken 10th if you look at it now." Liam Jones saying, "Here, can I just point out the Ramble? The Ramble is a hush of bunch United hating bastards masquerading as a hipster football podcast. Sorry to go completely off topic. Have a great show, lads. Love you." That's from Liam Jones. The Football Ramble, apparently. Yeah. Do you know who else is like that as well? The Kickoff. That True Geordie absolutely hates United and loves slagging him off.
What is this thing with Newcastle fans? Why do they hate us? Like, what is this?
It's the 90s
with Kevin. Rivalry, but there's no rivalry.
The Kevin Keegan thing, and then it was the Carabao Cup because we haven't won in 56 years. Obviously, won it now, but
like, we're not rivals. Like, why are they trying to start something? Like, it's just I just see so much hatred from Newcastle fans.
It's weird. I've never understood it.
So weird.
Yeah.
It's like the turn. Do you ever see that meme? It's like, I hate you, and then the other guy just turns and says, I don't even know who you are.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. Spot on. Danny Rinson saying, "What's your thoughts on United signing Cunha? Do you think signing Cherky for a lot less would have been a better move?" Well, me and Sam went live earlier on today in regards to the Cunha thing, but Adam, I can get your quick thoughts on it if you have some on officially signing him.
Well, looking at that kind of left inside 10, he fits the profile to a T. He does. He's obviously Wolves' standout player. I think the standout player probably in the bottom half. I know that sounds bad, but like, he was the standout player for me in the bottom few teams. So that's where we have to kind of pick this talent from. Cherky, I know the kind of word is Man City. He's going to be, for me, that's the end of his career. He's going to be a robot like Bernardo Silva. Just pluck any form of, I suppose, what's the word, flair out of the player. That seems to be the Pep Guardiola motto.
Grealish
happened with Grealish. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm happy with the move because I think that's someone that we needed, and we're going to be letting go of Garnacho and Rashford as well. So we need somebody on that side, and he looks to fit the bill. I'm hoping Bruno can stay because I think the link-up play between the two of them, they could have good chemistry there, but we got to wait and see. It's going to be a long summer.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a very, very busy summer. And we will be active, believe you me, on YouTube and on socials. So make sure you turn on the notification bell on YouTube and drop us a follow on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well. The socials in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Right, back into the predictions, lads. Let's go to who we predicted for relegation. I didn't do it because I started reading the comments section, so I didn't actually predict anyone. I skipped over it somehow. Aaron went with Southampton, Nottingham Forest, and Everton. So just Southampton for him. Chivy predicted Leicester, Ipswich, and Nottingham Forest. So he got 2 out of 3. Nice. Sam predicted Southampton, Everton, and Nottingham Forest. So same as Aaron. And Adam predicted Southampton, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth. So
you've had a mare there.
You can imagine where I'm going to go with this one, straight to Adam. What was your thought process? But I don't know if you'd be able to remember why, but people don't realize at the start of the season, it's so hard to see someone like Forest finishing Champions League football in it, for example.
Yeah. how I saw it, like they lost Solanke, was it last summer as well?
Yeah,
And like
so.
he was scoring the goals for them, and like I was like, how could they replace him?
Yeah.
Like if you're not scoring goals in the league, you're going to drop considerably down. You're going to lose games, and that's what happened.
Wasn't in that kind of form either for him. Like he had a really good season. He weren't really doing bits for him. So yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where my understanding was, and like it happened with us as well this season. We weren't scoring enough, and we went down the table. But they seemed to actually perform relatively well and have a decent enough season. They did. So I had to admit I had a mare there.
But we'll all have our moment. Don't worry about that.
And Forest too.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest. But is there then hope for us?
That.
If Nottingham Forest could finish 17th and be in a relegation battle or whatever it was, and then get Champions League football, can we do the same now?
Well, they did.
I think we can with the right signings.
But they were close to it. They almost did.
Oh yeah, they got conference football. Was it 6? They finished.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like a couple of signings changes everything, doesn't it? Like you saw Forest, like they've got they didn't buy that many in the summer, did they? Like they still had pretty much a very similar team. Like was it Mikalenkovic came in? I believe.
I don't know if it was the summer where because he spent like 200 million in one of the summers. Was that not last summer?
Yeah,
or was that the one before?
The summer before. Yeah, the one before.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
They had like Matt Sells and Morgan Gibbs White and Callum Hudson-Odoi, Ilanga, like a bunch of players, and they didn't show up the first season, but then this season they've absolutely smashed it. Like Murillo, absolutely phenomenal. Matt Sells, the keeper. Ilanga's been doing bits. Chris Wood has like been outscoring people. So they've been unbelievable, and that's like the players have clicked. They've got the system. And it's full force ahead, and they found a way to beat teams like the likes of City, the likes of didn't it beat Liverpool as well? The only team to beat Liverpool.
Yeah, they beat them at Anfield, didn't they?
Yeah. So like they found a way to beat these bigger teams, and they play it without possession, and it's mostly counter attack, and they beat these teams, which is very similar to how Leicester won the league. Leicester basically had that ball over the top into Jamie Vardy, and he put it away, and people couldn't deal with it, and then they worked him out the next season, and then they ended up like going down, didn't they? So I think that's all it takes. Like if our system clicks next season, we get the right players, like we could push up the table. I'm not saying we could win the league, but we could definitely push up if the system clicks and the players are correct, because Forest have done it.
Yeah, I was just looking at the big expenditures in the summer. They bought Elliot Anderson from Newcastle for 40 million. I didn't even realise that.
That was one of those deals, wasn't it, where they bought one from Newcastle and then Newcastle bought one from them to sort of balance.
There was a load of that going on with
PSR.
like Villa
did it as
happening recently, hasn't it?
I think they sold Minto to Brighton as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
Newcastle.
What a mistake! What a mistake that was.
Yeah, incredible player.
That was Minto. Really Jesus Christ.
Milenkovic, obviously, we'll get onto a little bit later. You've got Murillo, who was like 15 mil as well. Like they bought really, really well. And just goes to show, a good solid transfer window can really have an effect. So yeah, a few people had Nottingham Forest in there, but obviously Southampton was the main consistent one who people knew kind of was going down. But quite surprised none of us put Leicester in there. It's quite, I don't know.
I thought they'd be all right with Sneeze Cooper.
Yeah.
I thought they'd stay up. He knows he's done it before with Forest.
Yeah,
I thought their players were better than what they turned out to be.
And they got twatted, didn't they? Most games.
Just awful.
My God.
Like I thought they were better than that, but clearly not.
Yeah. Right. Let's get on to Golden Boot predictions. Can you remember, lads, who you predicted?
I must have said Haaland. I must have.
You said Haaland, yeah. Adam?
Yeah. I said Haaland as well.
Yeah, you both said Haaland, yeah. So I went with Isaac. Aaron and Chivy both went with Mo Salah. And you two went with Haaland, and obviously Mo Salah got it, I think, with around 29 goals. But is this becoming a bit more predictable now every season? The kind of top three, because we've all predicted the top three there pretty much.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of this, like it's almost stagnant. But we've been saying it in the forwards market. There's not that many world class kind of players these days, and it seems like at least two of the top teams in the league have the best player in their position. So, like, it's a safe bet. Like, you can tell by the odds, even like looking at the betting markets, it's just become so repetitive. But the only thing is, these players are getting older. Haaland is obviously a wee bit younger, but Salah is a bit older. Eventually, a drop off will come, and then you're thinking, who's going to be coming into the limelight then? And there's not that many. There isn't. Like Isaac for me is the kind of striker that's outside, the big six, if you will. The big six is kind of, he's the player that is the next for me.
He finished above Haaland. He was second. Erling Haaland was third.
Yeah.
So, and he
I
played.
have to remember how bad Haaland was as well for a period.
Yeah, and obviously got a bit of an injury.
Was it like 7 games or something? He didn't score.
Yeah, he had a weird spell where it's like, do you know what I think it is with him? I think when he doesn't have De Bruyne, I think that's a big issue for him. De Bruyne finds him like no one else.
Yeah.
On the pitch.
And they played when Marmoush played there, when Haaland was out, they played very differently. Because Marmoush will drop deep, get the ball, he'll bring people in. Whereas Haaland's not going to do that. He's just going to wait near the box to get the ball, and then he'll finish. But like Marmoush plays in a very different way. So it will be interesting going forward how City are going to sort of adapt with that. So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens there.
But again, we had a couple of surprises. You look at the top 6, let's just say. Salah, 29 goals, 18 assists. Isaac, 23 goals, 6 assists. Haaland, 22 with 3. And then you had Mbeumo, 20 goals and 7 assists for Brentford, which is a fucking incredible return. Hopefully we go and sign him. Yeah, Chris Wood was just after him with 20 goals and 3 assists. And then Visser with 19 goals and 4 assists. So 39 goals between Mbeumo and Visser for Brentford, which is just...
How many did Højlund finish with?
He finished with,
6.
let me just scroll...
6. I think he got 6.
Keep scrolling. You'll be scrolling a while here, Nick.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. We'll just get 6. It felt like 1, but I imagine it was probably 4 to 6 somewhere, kind of within that region. Let's move on to signings of the season. So we did 1 for United and 1 from the league. Can you remember who you said?
I say, is this the one you asked us the other day?
Yeah. So no, I asked you.
Oh, at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, okay. So I asked you this at the beginning of the season, but I asked you for who you thought it was, so I can have it below that in terms of, like the comparison.
All right, so I think I've said to you, it was Mikulenkovic signing the season. And then for United, I picked De Ligt. I can't remember who I picked like at the beginning of the season. I really can't.
Do you remember?
I'm trying to remember who I did say.
Who do you reckon you said from the summer of signings that we made and the summer of signings that was made from the Premier League? Who do you think you went with?
I thought maybe Mazraoui, just the simple fact that I was cracking up with Dallo, and I thought it was good business at the time, like very cheap. We let Wan-Bissaka go, we made money there. I thought that was good business, so maybe that he was relatively cheap too. And the only thing that I had worried was his injury record, but the guy was available the whole time, all season. Okay. So I think I said him.
Right, let's get into it. Signing of the season, United in the league. I said Lenny Yoro and Archie Gray for Tottenham. Obviously, he's one of the summer signings. Aaron had Xerxes and Maatsen from Aston Villa. Chivy also had Xerxes and Calafiore, which is a bit of a stinker, I have to admit. Sam, you had Lenny Yoro and Onana from Villa, which is
Can I just say Onana from Villa, not Onana
from Villa? Yeah, I knew he was going to say that. I should have put. I was going to put Onana, and then I was like, well, it's just the same.
Andre. It's the same.
Yeah, it's Andre, so it doesn't matter. And Adam, you had De Ligt, which isn't bad, and the other one, can you not remember it at all?
I just see it here now. I don't remember saying that.
Fulkrug. But
okay, I want to say this.
I think he's all right. I back him on this. I back him on it.
Yeah.
He had a great fucking Euros, man. Like he did.
Yeah. He had a good Euros, and then West Ham went out and they bought a load of big players. People kind of forget that they actually, and you were looking at it and you were thinking, here, West Ham could, go up into the top 6. They spent a lot. It looked like smart business at the time, but looking at it now, it didn't work out. It didn't. But
never does.
I thought they had a lot of creativity in that team. He'd get a load of goals, but look, it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think that the majority of the ones that we chose didn't really overperform or were outstanding. I'd probably say Onana's probably the best shout out of them all. But he was good for Villa, I would say. Yeah. But then the others are kind of like Maatsen is okay for Villa. Yeah. Archie Gray was a young, promising player, but weren't a standout for them. Fulkrug, Calafiore was not great for Arsenal at all. But let's just focus on the players that we picked and kind of review that. Sam, me and you went with Yoro. How do you reckon he's got on this season?
I think he's been outstanding. Like I think he had that shaky game against Southampton, And then after that, I think he's just got better and better. Like every single game he plays, him and Ahmad are always standout players every single time. Great ball control. He's a fantastic defender. He was getting up front at points, wasn't he, in the last sort of few games?
He's doing
he was, like, running through
what
defenders.
Leacher was doing before he got injured, pressing up.
Honestly, I'm so glad we bought him. Like that Southampton game, I was worried. I was like, oh no, he's not going to be able to adapt to this. But since then, he's been phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
No complaints about him at all. Fantastic player.
Yeah. Adam, you had De Ligt in there as well. Obviously, he's had injuries towards the end of the season, but it's been pretty solid, hasn't it, for the majority of it?
Yeah, this is one thing that people kind of forget. I think from looking at it, I know we had a disaster of a season, but I think our defenders have been quite well, especially the centre halves. Mazraoui's kind of operated in that position as well. The only issue has been the goalkeeper has been very, very bad, and we haven't been outscoring teams. I don't know if you remember Fergie's last season. We were conceding a lot of goals, but we were outscoring the team the whole time. So you had big names in defence, and they were playing well, but obviously they were conceding as well. But they had the strikers and everyone to bail them out. So I don't think Euro, De Ligt, I don't think they've had a bad season. Mazraoui as well.
Aiden Heaven as well. Yeah. Aiden Heaven
exactly.
Well. Yeah.
So some of our best performances this season outside of Bruno have all been defenders, and we're in the bottom half of the table, and the only reason is we're not scoring enough. And then the goalkeeper's also been a bit shaky as well. So it's clear and obvious where we need to kind of act in the window right now. But De Ligt, before the injury, I remember people saying, "Oh, his injury record and all this," but he was quite consistent. He didn't get that many injuries, and obviously this one looked relatively bad. It did, and it wasn't really the best time, important time for us to, have that with the Europa League final. But I think he's had a decent season. Him, Euro, Mazraoui, I think have been really, really good.
Yeah.
We brought them in last summer, and I don't think they've been bad.
It's them that I'm like, okay, I could see them, and Mazraoui, utility player. I could see, playing multiple positions. Every team needs a player like him. Yeah. Lenny Euro is one for the future, absolutely. And then De Ligt, I think it's been good enough. I wouldn't say he's a top class defender, but I think he's good enough, at least for us to finish kind of top 6 area, in my opinion.
I think his commitment and putting his body on the line and the way he fights for the team, I like that. We need more of that in the team. He's got that spirit that Leacher has got. Yeah. He's got that spirit that so Fires. I like that. Yeah, I want to see that in the team. I need to see more of that in the team.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, flop of the season, lads. Can you remember who you went for? Any idea?
Did I say Solanke? I've got a feeling I said Solanke.
No, we had a conversation about Solanke, and I'll get into that in a minute. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember.
Okay.
Completely gone.
I've just got Solanke in my head for some reason. I don't know why.
Let's pop him on the screen. So I said Dewsbury Hall. I think he bought for £30 million because I was like, Dewsbury Hall?
Did he?
Yeah, he was. But when he did, he was just meh. Aaron said Pedro Neto, which I think I want to get your opinions on him. Chivy said Solanke for Tottenham.
That's what I remember.
Sam, you said Somerville for West Ham.
Well, he's not played either, has he?
No, not at all. And Adam, you said Amadou Onana. So yeah, I mean, Andre, yeah, you would have been spot on with that. But obviously, specifically players who had signed in the summer. But yeah, all of them. I mean, Pedro Neto, I think, was Jamie Carragher's shout for player of the season or the one to look out for.
He was good. He's really good.
But I don't know at Chelsea. I've not seen. I mean, he looks dangerous at times, and then he kind of fades in and out of games. I wouldn't say he's had a decent season. Who would you say has been the flop? Who's been the biggest one that you've been like, he's been horrendous, absolutely horrendous?
I'm gonna get a list up now of
because I put on the graphic just because it was mine, and I think I put Calafiori for Arsenal's up there because I thought that the World Cup or Euros, whatever it was that he looked incredible for Italy. Mm-hmm. And then Arsenal brought him in as this 50 million pound signing instead of getting a striker. And he's just been pretty average for the majority of games that I've watched, and injury prone as well. So that's the one I chucked in there. But any other ones, people in the chat as well, get it in the comment section. Who has been for you the flop of the season? I think Price has to come into this as well.
Yeah, so we're not doing loan players then, I'm guessing.
No loan players. Okay. Just pure, you look at players who've been bought for 50 million, 60 million quid, for example. Richarlison, had he had moved in the summer, for example, would be considered as a giant flop because, you paid 60 million for him and he's done fuck all basically in a t-shirt. So
true. I'm just I'm just looking at like who people brought in and stuff like that.
Joao Felix?
Joao Felix, but he's at Milan,
that's a
isn't he?
shout.
Yeah.
And they don't want him either. They don't want him.
Yeah, he's been moved left, right, centre. He's been at Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, back to Atletico.
You know what's a good call, I think? It might be a bit controversial in that Phil Foden didn't have a great season after last season.
He definitely, because from going from getting Premier League Player of the Season to this, he's off the board. Probably the worst one, like in terms of the drop-off. But because this is specifically signings just in summer, you can't be kind of considered into that. But I agree with you.
Could you say Chiesa for Liverpool? Because he just never happened for him, did it? It just never got going. Like it just never. When he got in the team, he wasn't fantastic, and it seems like he's just never gonna. Like it was kind of a pointless signing in my eyes.
But the price,
did he even get a medal?
He was 10 million euros, Chiesa, wasn't it? So we weren't like, it's not a big gamble. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to think of players that were bought for around 50, 60 million that had a lot of high hopes and just didn't really deliver on that scale.
Could you say
West Ham player, surely, hasn't it?
Oh yeah,
West Ham.
Well, I think in a weird way, Wan-Bissaka's been really good for them. I think he got player of the season for him, or players player or something along the lines of that. But Fulkrug was one, but he was bought again for like 12 million or something. I don't think he was too expensive because he's like 30 years old.
Well, I'm just looking now. West Ham bought Kilman for 40 million.
Yeah,
because you put maybe him. There wasn't really a massive flop, like unless I'm missing somebody.
I'm putting Calafiori in there for me. I think it's been underwhelming, personally. But
Xerxes, as bad as it sounds, like the money you're thinking striker should be scoring goals. I know it's a bit hard because he did kind of try in that, but compared to Højlund, he's being a lot better. But we signed a striker. Should be gold.
No, I get it. I'm with you on Xerxes. I like him as certain things that he does as a player, but it doesn't have enough effect. If you're a forward, his output is nowhere near enough. So maybe people would throw that in there. But I know a lot of people also like him as well in terms of what he does and how he acts. Someone's put Timber always injured at Arsenal. Timber's a fantastic player. I don't have any of that. He was one of the players that Ten Hag wanted. He's been really good for Arsenal, Timber. I know he is injured, but whenever he's played, I've been super impressed with him.
Did Ipswich sign Calvin Phillips permanently, or was it a loan?
I don't know,
because he's been his career's fallen.
Oh, he's just way off, wasn't it? But yeah, I think it's hard to really pluck one in, so we'll just leave those couple of names that we mentioned. So the next category that we had was where will United finish and what will we win? Which is
I said 6. I know I said that, and I was told I was negative, so keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And then, did I say we would win the Europa League?
No, you said no trophies.
No trophies.
I
got half right. I'm half right, so I'll take that.
I said 5th and a Europa League final, which was spot on. Not spot on, obviously the 5th for the Europa League final. Aaron said 4th and no trophy. So spot on with the no trophy. Chivy said 4th and the Europa League. Sam, you said 6th and no trophy. And Adam, you said 4th and the Europa League as well with Chivy. So, both of us were close in that regard to that. And the result was, as you both know, we finished 15th, which was
no trophy.
And bottled the final to Spurs. I mean, lads, I know we've reflected on it quite a lot and spoke about it quite a lot, but that is... If someone said to you, if we went back in a time lapse now to that predictions and someone went 15th and we lose the final to Spurs, you would have said, no, that's the worst case scenario. There's absolutely no chance that happens. And yet here we sit reflecting.
I mean, I was that rant with the clip of me saying Spurs will bottle stuff, they never win a trophy, it'll never happen. And it basically, the hell has frozen over, hasn't it? Hell has fucking frozen over.
It certainly
Spurs have won a trophy for the first time in forever, and they beat us 4 times in a season, and we finished 15th. Like, how much worse could it get?
No.
Like could it get any worse? Like, there's no fucking anything worse than that. Like, it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, that final really was the nail in the coffin, wasn't it, Adam? Like, how depressed was you after that?
Yeah. I think I said it to Sam before the show the last day. After the full-time whistle, I sat out the back And I don't smoke, but it was the closest I was to actually taking a cigarette. Like I genuinely just sat down, depressed. I couldn't say anything. Like it was probably the lowest I felt as a United fan. That was
Definitely.
like, I know the last 10 years have been rough. We've won things, we've had big moments, we've had very bad moments, like even getting hammered by Liverpool and that. But I think that game could be the game that sets us back a good few years.
Yeah.
It could be, like, just for what it could have done in the summer, like made deals a lot easier, the players that you could target, the PSR reasons as well. Like, it had a massive impact, and I felt like we blew it. We did. And like, it's hard to, like, blame, like, certain individuals and that for that particular game. I think it was a team collective. We just weren't good. You would have given us another 90 minutes. I don't think we would have scored.
Yeah.
But I would never have seen Spurs beating us in a final. Like, they weren't even great on the night. Like, if you look at this, even stats, I know stats are like a whole different thing. We done like twice as many passes as well as them, but we offer nothing. And it's been the story of our season. We just can't score goals. And that's what happened to us. And they were ruthless. They had one big chance, I suppose, and they took it.
I mean,
but worst feeling ever as a United fan, I think.
I was about to say, I've been angry after games, but after that one, I mean, me and Sam just about scraped ourselves off the floor to do the fucking review of the game, and we was just like it's almost disbelief in it when you watch something like that. You're just like, how after everything the fans have been
after
through the
everything,
season, like the awful performances, you put all your eggs, the chicken, the basket in the fucking Europa League, and you get to a final and you play a team that hasn't won since Anderlecht in the 80s, and you lose. And even Spurs didn't play well. They got a scruffy goal and they just sat back and was like, try beat us, because they knew how bad we was in attack. They could just sit deep and they knew they wouldn't break it. They had one opportunity that was cleared, won it off Van der Ven off the line where you're like, that was close. Apart from that, nothing much in it. So
I think Luke Shaw had a chance, didn't he, at the end? And I actually felt my knees at that point. I knew that was it.
That was it, yeah.
When it got cleared off the line, I was like, we ain't scoring. Like, that's when it's cleared off the line, you know that the other team is going to win this. Like, we're just not scoring. And every single player, bar, I think Dorgu and Yoro maybe, just didn't show up. Like, they just didn't bother to show up at all in that game. Like, none of them.
We just had some breaking news with Bruno, which I'll do this last bit and then we'll discuss the Bruno thing. Yeah, we'll get into that momentarily. So, the last category that we had two last categories, but one last graphic on the screen, and I don't know why it's there. 1 second, let me just fucking move that over. There we go. Right, trophy winners. So, I predicted City to win the league, Atletico Madrid to win the Champions League, Newcastle to win the Carabao, bang on.
Oh, that one.
City to win the FA Cup, obviously they was in the final, and Tottenham to win the Europa League, which I will take, because the odds on that would have been decent, I'd imagine. Aaron predicted Arsenal, Leverkusen, Fulham, and Liverpool for those same categories. Chivy had Arsenal to win the league, Madrid to win the Champions League, City to win the Carabao and the FA Cup, and United to win the Europa. Sam, you had City to win the league, Madrid to win the Champions League, Liverpool to win the Carabao, Villa for the FA Cup, and Roma for the Europa League. And Adam, you had City for the Prem, Barca for the Champions League, Liverpool for the Carabao, Chelsea for the FA Cup, and United for the Europa League as well. Which, to be, in fairness, the majority of them teams that I've just mentioned
went close to the final,
really far. Yeah, they went quite far and got in the final and such. So yeah, surprises, quite a few surprises. It seemed like the year this year, Adam, for the bird. The bird, I know that was in there as well, but I mean, almost not like underdogs, maybe a little bit. You've got obviously PSG, who I know they've been incredible all season, but they had never won a Champions League right before, so that's new for them. Newcastle haven't won one in 50 odd years. They won the Carabao. Crystal Palace haven't won one for fucking years. Tottenham haven't won one for years. So all these teams, is that coincidence or what's going on here? And whilst you're saying that, sorry, I'm just going to change my camera because my battery's dying. So, but go ahead with it.
When it rains, it does pour. It does, and it feels like every team that you could see building up. Okay, the underdog has won it here. The next one, and there was almost that kind of hanging over us for that Europa League final. And I remember everybody saying, "Oh, this isn't looking good." Kind of, people who are superstitious, including myself. Like I kind of felt a little bit of doubt, but I didn't think we'd perform as bad as we did. But it seemed like the year for the underdog, year for the bird, and
I like.
What are we going to say?
Like that. I like that Palace won the FA Cup. That was nice, beating City. Like I'm down with that. Like that was a nice thing because you're so sick of seeing City win trophies out here. Like, just, I'm beyond caring about City winning trophies. Nobody cares about the Conference League, so who gives a shit with that? And with PSG, it just seemed like it was coming, didn't it? The way they were playing, the way they were just putting the sword to Liverpool, to Aston Villa, to like all these different teams, just absolutely bricking them. And then it just, it seemed like it was inevitable. And then with Inter Milan just not showing up at all in that final, you're like,
like I know we didn't show up, but geez, that was
5-0. 5.
Is that the largest,
biggest score ever in a final? Yeah.
And I think if Barca had got into that final, like it would have been, I think, one of your all-time greats. Like both teams had to play. Like it would have been enjoyable. I thought Inter Milan, massive letdown. Like for any team. But this is also something that I saw after PSG won. Arsenal now have the longest drought, I think, in the Champions League. Like most appearances without winning.
Yeah, so, sounds about right. Sounds about right. Apologies about that, people. My head's all over the place. I don't know where we was at now. But on the season winners, I don't know what you mentioned about the underdog story, but it's nice in it to see it. If United can't win a trophy, obviously I don't want Liverpool ever to win a trophy or anyone like that, just for context to put it out there. But for Palace, teams like that, like they was really good in the FA Cup final, weren't they, Sam?
Yeah. No, I like it. Like it's a shame City were in the final. Like I would have liked. Who did they beat in the other semi-final? Was it Villa? Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a Villa Palace final. That would have been nice. Like that would have been better to see a team who don't.
Or Forest as well. I'd chuck in there.
Forest, yeah. Any of those would have been great. It's just, but City
did get a record though. Pep's the first manager to lose back-to-back FA Cup finals, and it was almost Ten Hag. It could have been.
It was. It was. But I was happy with it. Like I'll take that all day. It's PSG just play the ownership aside and what that means in terms of sports washing and stuff like that. The football they play and the team Luis Enrique has built is phenomenal. Like just such a good team. Like,
so good to watch, aren't they, as well? The dynamism, the wingers, the transitions, the quality of players they've got. Like I was thinking, because if we would have won the Europa League, we would have played them in the Super Cup.
No.
Oh my god, you would have got twatted off them. Like Desire Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, the midfield that they've got, Vitinha and Neves and Fabian Ruiz, just incredible. And Paco as well for the centre back.
Mendes, the fullback.
Hakimi is incredible. Scored the first goal. Donnarumma's incredible goalkeeper. Like,
team of engines.
Mate,
all of them.
The next 10 years, 15 years, they're going to be scary.
The one thing about that final that I noticed is something we definitely don't do. The pressing that PSG did in that final, it was insane.
Incredible.
Like any time Inter got the ball, it was just like to him like a fucking magnet.
Yeah,
unbelievable. The fact that players of that quality and that level work that hard is amazing. Like, it's absolutely amazing.
Have you seen before we get onto the controversial opinions that we did at the end, which is the last category, and then we'll get onto the Bruno news. Did you see the clip of Luis Enrique speaking to Mbappe in a room? So he's going through video footage with him. And he was basically screaming at him, saying, like, you don't run nowhere near enough. You're supposed to be a leader of the pack and press from the front and lead everyone else and trap people in certain positions. And was just going through a whole pressing dynamic with him. I thought it was really interesting. And you see the difference now from someone with like Dembele, for example, who was regarded as like a really lazy, didn't really turn up to train, almost Sancho-like a little bit. Yeah. And that's a sign of a good coach that he's taken Dembele and turned him arguably right now probably into a Ballon d'Or winner. Or at least in contention for it. The guy's won a treble and, has got 30-odd goals during the season. He'll be in contention for it. So, Luis Enrique, incredible.
Look as well, some of those players, like Vitinha was at Wolves at one point. He's playing for Wolves, Vitinha.
Yeah.
And now he's arguably one of the best defensive midfielders on the planet, like bar none, which is just insane. Like, Wolves had him and were like, nah, don't fancy him. And now he's one of the best players in the world. Like, madness.
I loved Neves. Remember when United was linked with him? I was like, please, 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 someone like him or Vitinha in our midfield. Oh my god!
Do you remember? Do you remember people saying, "Oh, John Evans, he's too small. Like he's not. He's too small." I'm like, look at him. Look at how fucking good he is.
Vitinha, so far, I can't remember who's got. Sorry, I'm going on about PSG. I promise I'll get into the last topic. But just watching him last night, there was a period where who scored? I think it was Desiree Doué's second goal, where Vitinha's in the build-up and he's pinging it left, right like Xavi for about 5 minutes, receives it back and then spots an opening, drills it into Dembele. Dembele backheels it back to Vitinha. Vitinha feeds in Desiree Doué and he just finishes it off. And you're like, people talk about all the attackers, but Vitinha in that midfield is, oh my God, he's unbelievable to watch. And I would kill for a fucking midfielder like that at United. Because people are going about Ugarte and, yeah, he's good off the ball and, you know, what he does. Like, but look how Vitinha's good off the ball and look how good he is on it. He dictates the game. He's incredible. Yeah. So, yeah. Right, let's get into the controversial opinions then. So, right, Aaron, which I think we know a couple of them anyway. Mine is... He got a few right, did he? He did. Mine is shocking on this. Absolutely shocking. Yeah. So, Aaron said Moyes back in charge at West Ham. That was one of his, so he gave us 3.
That was so close. It was. Yeah. They fired him. They fired Lopetegui.
And he was struggling as well, and you're like, oh, maybe... Rude to be interim by Christmas, he said at the start of the season. That happened. And Anthony to have a better season. In which, you know,
you could give it. You could give it.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, do you award that?
He didn't say for United, did he?
No, he said he would have a better season. He was like, I don't think he's going to have an incredible season, but I think better. Yeah. So I'll let the viewers decide if you want to
I'll give him that.
Yeah. I said... Rashford Golden Boot contention.
Oh, no.
That's a stinker.
Oh, no.
That's a stinker. Adam, you said Everton to go down, which I don't think is... I think Moyes taking over is obviously...
Up until Moyes came in, they might have done. Like, Sean Dyche just lead them down. Yeah.
Chivy said Ten Hag top 3. And do you know what? I reviewed the clip before. I'll post it either later on tonight or tomorrow because it is quite funny. We asked him for his controversial opinion, and he went, "Oh, I've not got one," and then just stayed flat, quiet like that. He just went, "Yeah, I've not got one," and we all went, "What do you mean? This is the show that we're doing." And he went, "All right, okay, I'll have a think now." And he went, "Ten Hag top 3," and then I said, "You're going against your own top 4 prediction?" And he went, "Yeah, that's why it's controversial." And I was like, fucking hell, Jimmy. So he went with Ten Hag comes top 3. And Sam, you said Southgate takes over a Prem team. And Arsenal will have a worse season than everyone thinks. So, not too bad. Not as bad as mine anyway, fucking hell. Rashford Golden Boot, Jesus. So they are all of our predictions. There's going to be another one, season predictions, more towards the, obviously, August kind of period when the season's actually kicking off. Let us know your thoughts and feelings on that, and I'll get into the comments, and then we'll do the Bruno stuff, if that's okay with you lads. We'll spend 5 minutes on that. Rain said, I got every prediction wrong this season, bar Palace and Newcastle winning. Everything else sucked. Loved yesterday for Enrique, though. It's refreshing to hear Pep try claiming the Community Shield as a serious trophy. That was the only joy I had since August. Got to love a Pep meltdown. Danny saying, love how important trophies are when it's not United winning them. The anti-United agenda is ridiculous. Lauding PSG 3 at the back system, but then saying Amarin, same system, can't work in modern football. Ray saying, people saying the PSG ownership model and about time just have no clue. They're so well coached and determined. It's unbelievable. Loads of people going on about PSG. Liam saying, call me a fair with a fan, but I turned it off at 80 minutes. I just couldn't go through it. We all knew we weren't scoring. Oh, you know about the Spurs final? I don't blame you, mate. I really don't blame you. Yeah. I don't think anyone's going to go back and do any form of analysis on that fucking
Did game. You hear our friend Carl Anker, who's obviously part of Talk of the Devils in the Athletic, if you don't know who he is, we've had him on the channel before. He was on Talk of the Devils. He tried to watch it back, and I think he got to 30 minutes and was like, I couldn't do it. And he gave up. He said he was going to write a piece, like, looking at it, and he was like, he got to 30 minutes. He was like, I can't do it, and just gave up on it.
I absolutely adore Bruno Fernandes, but he was terrible in that game. Yes. Really bad.
Mason Mount was terrible.
Disappeared.
Well.
Didn't touch the ball. Yeah, shocking. Anyway, don't want to do too much revision on that. Speaking of Bruno Fernandes, just the last thing, lads. We have had an update. So just in, Al Hilal believe an agreement with Bruno Fernandes is now close after a week of positive meetings. A key factor in whether Bruno agrees to move will be if he believes it's right for his family. So they're the kind of conversations that are ongoing in a minute. There's still been no formal approach from Al Hilal to Manchester United, but the Saudi club believe United will sanction a deal if Bruno asks to leave. Hilal want a decision from Bruno by Friday, June the 6th. So the timer is ticking. I mean, we're in different timers here, fucking 72 hours, 24 hours. A load of different stuff, but they believe that this was from Ben Jacobs that an agreement with Bruno is close, lads. So Adam, just give us your thoughts on that, because me and Sam have spoken about the Bruno thing quite a lot.
I think it's going to be, if it does go through, look, we're going to probably get a lot of money for it. Like, that's one thing. It's not selling to a direct rival, which is the good thing. But like, I don't want to be seeing the best players, some of the best players in the world, go off to Saudi Arabia, and like, it's just like, they're obviously going for money. Okay, the money is unbelievable in that, but where's the, I suppose, the hunger for success? You may win a trophy out there, but like, as harsh as it sounds, it means nothing. It doesn't. Like, it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. And like, would you prefer to stay here, be the skipper that brings United back to the good days? And like, the manager has come out and said he wants him. He's the best kind of player for our team. And like, where's that hunger for success? Yeah.
Saying that to Bruno, though, he's probably heard that in the past 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
With different managers coming in. Like when Ole came in and obviously signed him, he was like, look, we're going to finish second, we're going to do this. And then Ten Hag comes in, we've won a trophy, we're going to do this. And then Abraham comes in. Do you think he's still got that hunger to continue?
Well, I think any player, like, he's one of these players who always performs, he's always running. He wants to be successful, and like, if you're going to Saudi Arabia, it's not for the success, it's for the cash, and that's all it has been. And like, okay, it does probably do us good, and if this does go through, like, the rumors were that it's like a blank check United can just say, and Al Hilal will try and do it. I want, like, if Liverpool got how much for Coutinho, we should be aiming for like easily more than that, because everything's inflated. So like, I don't want to be seeing him go 80 million, all this price that I've seen recently being, I suppose, quoted. Like, it's, for me, like, I don't trust United to replace that. How are you going to replace like the output that he does? We're not scoring goals. He was the only kind of main goal scorer and creator that we had. How do you replace that? You can't. There's no player in Europe that I look at and think, okay, yeah, he's the fella to replace Bruno. Like, okay, people are kind of saying like it might bring more balance to the team in that, but like, I don't trust our lot to bring in the correct players right now. I don't. So I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see our best player go. Especially like, he's talked so well about the club. He's loved around the club. I think everyone loves Bruno. Like, he's the epitome of the sort of mindset that you want. And like, I don't want to see that go. I don't want to see it go now. I want him to stay around for a while. I think he's good enough to stay. He should be competing at the top, and like, he shouldn't be wasting the rest of his career what he has in Saudi Arabia. Look, you have money now. Like, the money you're on, you're going to live comfortably for the rest of your life, and your kids are going to live comfortably for the rest of their life. So like, why like throw it away? Why throw away that kind of success, that opportunity to be the man? Like, I know he's heard it for 5 years and that, but like, he should be sitting down and being involved in, like, you know, the projects going forward, see what it is. Because I think, was it Wayne Rooney kind of had that meeting with Sir Alex?
Yeah,
it was. He was getting offers from Chelsea, Man City, and he was like, what are we doing? Like, we sold Ronaldo, and we're bringing in, was it Gabriel Obertan, Michael Owen,
yeah,
and who else was it? It wasn't Valencia, was it?
May have been. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like, you sell the best player in the world, and then you're replacing it with that. Like I kind of understand where Rooney was coming from. Obviously, got offered more, but like, are United in the position to offer more, especially with redundancies? He doesn't strike me as that sort of player that would be demanding the club, like, you know, more money given what's happened, because he's like paid for tickets himself for workers in the club. I just think he's a good professional to have around the club. Like, he's good on the pitch. Like, I know he didn't perform in the final. Not many did. But I'd like him to continue. I don't want the story to end now like that. I think he deserves to go out on a high at United.
Well, to see us off, Simon, and finish the show, Adam mentions a bid of the amount of around, call it £140 million, 150, where we would probably, we'd definitely accept that, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Not sorry to put you on your toes or whatever, but if that deal comes in right now, are you taking it?
Yeah, 100%.
£140 million.
Yeah, because if we keep him for another year, say, you ain't getting that bid next year. Like, it'll drop because he'll be 31, 32 at that point. It'll drop. Will he have as a good of a season as he's had? Maybe. Like, he has been fairly consistent, but I imagine because of the age, it will drop. So I would take it because, well, I mean, we've been through all the reasons why we did a show, and I don't want to repeat myself too much, but to sort of cover it quickly, he doesn't really fit in the system anywhere because his best position is a 10 just behind a striker, and we don't play with that. We play with 2 wide 10s with a striker like there. He could play the 8, but is he really an 8? Like, he could do the job, but he's not really that guy. He's moved about the team all the time just trying to get him in, and we've become so dependent on him that when he doesn't play, we have no idea what to do. And I just think for building a unit and building team cohesion, if he left, you'd then be forced to rebuild the team and sort of get it into a unit where they work together like every other team does. If you
happy with PSG.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that could be a positive. And I know what Adam's saying is that he doesn't trust the people to recruit properly. And had this been John Merton, Richard Arnold, I'd be like, absolutely not. Don't give them anything because they couldn't spend money in a fucking sale and do it well. Like, they're just the worst people in the world. However, I think Ineos have proved themselves a little bit with deciding Aiden Heaven, Chido Obi, Lenny Yoro, Mazraoui, De Ligt. Question marks over Ugarte, question marks over Xerxes, but I think the others, they've done really well. So I think they deserve an opportunity to give that spend and do it. But I understand fans' fear on us spending that sort of money because we'd never spent it well ever in the past before. So I understand.
I get people saying replace him. So a couple of people mentioning
can't replace him.
A couple of people mentioning, Mbermo and Gyökeres and all these kind of players, right? And I get it. It's kind of like, if we get a good striker, you get Mbermo's numbers. Theoretically, it'd all work, right? But what you're actually doing is, at the minute, you're removing almost the nucleus of United, of that everything goes through him outside and on the pitch completely. But so to take a player, maybe not. Maybe it is. Maybe you need, to split the responsibility. And we've spoken before about maybe actually to move on and to go into this next generation, you might need to cut ties with Bruno in that sense. But it is such an attachment to him from fans at the minute, and everything he's done for us. He feels like the life and blood of the club. And if you take him out of the club, it feels like a giant risk. Everything feels like a giant risk at the minute. There's no guarantees. Like Amarin going forward with the squad, the transfer market, Bruno leaving. It's all like no one knows what's going to happen next, and that's the biggest thing with this Bruno situation. So, yeah, I understand.
Need to replace him, like with a statement signing. I think
really like
fans aren't going to be happy.
No, when you go, whoa, like if it was Wirtz, for example, people might go, okay, yeah, that's a player who we can, 100 million.
Would Gyökeres be enough? With Gyökeres. With that, like,
I think, Cunha,
and then they brought Gyökeres. They bought Gyökeres in. You've got Cunha. Maybe they sign in Buemo.
Midfielder, I would want.
Maybe they get midfielder in.
If you're going to get rid of Bruno, I would want a top level striker, and I would want. I mean, I want a top level striker anyway, but I want a really good midfielder in there as well. Man City are speaking to fucking Rangers from AC Milan.
Yeah,
and they've already got Rodri and all these players.
They're going after Rayan Cherki as well.
Yeah, and they want Gibbs White, and they want these. They're really, pushing the boundaries here for the midfielders. Like, we've got Casemiro, who's in the twilight days, and Ugarte, who's a lot of people don't seem to rate. So that's where you need to invest. But look, we're on the hour mark now, so we'll just leave it there. We've been through a lot of predictions, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show. It's usually fun going back through them. And there will be another season predictions closer to August, where we'll try to be a little bit more careful in our predictions because some of them is crazy. But yeah, it's going to be busy. Like, there's so much stuff ongoing with Bruno Fernandes at the minute, just players in general. We've signed Cunha today. Pre-season's just pretty much round the corner as well. The transfer window's currently open. You've got Club World Cup coming up. There's loads of stuff. I know we're not in the Club World Cup, but there's loads of stuff going on at the minute. So please do turn on that notification bell, because sometimes we go live, like today, for example, 2 o'clock. Cunha signed just out of the blue like that, and we went live. So turn on the notification bell. Drop us a follow. Bottom right-hand corner of your screen is all our socials: Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Sorry for people who are already following us. I know it might peck your red when we do that, but if you can, because sometimes there's new viewers, follow us on there, and you'll get minute-by-minute updates on all the situations that are ongoing currently with Manchester United. Cool. Cheers, lads, for jumping on. Appreciate yous. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday if you can. We probably will do, because United aren't playing, and we'll